Now, it's time to meet the players of college sports today and get this show started. He's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, a first-round NFL draft choice, and a member of the College Football Hall of Fame as both a player and coach. He is the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. He's a rare two-time SEC Player of the Year and spent over a decade in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Shane Matthews. And presenting the host of the show, with over 25 years of sports broadcasting experience, Terry Norvell. Coming to you from the College Sports Today studio, it's time for College Sports Today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell.
In case you're wondering, 22 days until college football kicks off. 22 days. And I got a couple guys that know a thing or two about football and, of course, college football. Head ball coach and, of course, Shane Matthews joining me, Terry Norvell. Guys, 22 days until kickoff. Florida hits the field today, Coach Spurrier. You remember you've had a few first days of camp in your career. What goes on first day of camp?
Oh, first day back when Shane was playing, gosh, we could go 2 days.
2 days.
I mean, we went in the morning in pads, and we threw it all over the place for about 2 hours. And then we'd come up about 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, practice another 2 hours.
Okay.
Oh, and I remember first or second year here, we had a bunch of guys cramp up. And I said, man, we got to cut back. We can't keep going at this pace. So they pumped them up with Gatorade, but yeah, you got to make sure you don't dehydrate and cramp up and all that. So now we're one-a-days. I think they maybe can go out in shorts and just do some walkthroughs, they call it now. But, yeah, the Gators are pumped up. Of course, everybody's pumped up this time of year. And Emory Jones, he'll bring a little different dimension and so forth. So I'm looking forward to watching the Gators.
Shane, if you could take us back. Your first day of fall camp at Florida. Now, you with Coach Spurrier, you had played in the orange and blue game in April.
Correct.
I guess it rolls around to August. Mm-hmm. Your first day, do you remember what happened? What'd y'all do? And your feelings going out there day one of camp?
Well, we did the same thing every day. I think that's one thing you got to do as a quarterback.
Okay.
It's all about your fundamentals. And Coach probably can remember day one. I can't remember that far back. But
I don't even know if you were number one on day one.
I think you did.
We had competition.
Did you have a depth chart at that point?
Yeah, we announced him as a starter a week or 10 days.
That's right.
10 days
You're
before,
right.
something like that.
But we did our normal, Kerwin and myself now, when we coach kids, we call them their Spurrier drops. Which
is that right?
Nobody really does those.
Which is?
Fundamentals.
Well, it's different. Your drops, getting loose, and then we did form throw, and then we'd go over there, and what you don't see anybody do nowadays is, like Coach said, we threw routes on air to get your timing, accuracy, knowing where the spacing and all that. And I mean, I don't see anybody throw routes on air these days, really. Not often.
I tell you, I had a saying, take your steps and throw the ball. And sometimes you have to regroup and then throw it, but if you can take your steps, a little slight hitch, and let it go, then usually it's always a good play, almost 80-90%.
Now, review, and I think you guys told this story on this show, almost like a pitching coach and a pitcher, you had to change. You told me one time on this show you were all over the map, your fundamentals. Well, and coach got a hold of you.
Yeah, my throwing, like I was telling, I went back to my high school reunion, and they had like the highlight tapes going in black and white, you know. And I was like, good Lord, my release was horrible. And it was horrible when Coach got here. It was, back in those days when I used to go to the Ole Miss Billy Brewer football camp, they'd put you, standing a few feet from the goalpost, and they want you to throw it over the crossbar to get this high release.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I had. But he wanted you more of a three-quarter. And, it didn't take me long to adjust, but some people, it's difficult for them to do.
Yeah. Is that the first thing you look at on a quarterback when they throw it, just their whole fundamentals? Is that the first thing you look at if you're watching somebody?
That's the first thing we start practicing.
Yeah.
A coach cannot help the quarterback how the ball comes out of his hand.
Yeah. No.
God gives you the ability to be a passer, but the fundamentals, I always tried to coach. It's sort of like just a baseball guy looking at the pitcher. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Except now you got a ball, and it's step and throw, step and throw. And once you get in that good rhythm, I mean, you can throw the ball very accurately, like Shane did.
Yeah. I want to go over a couple things. Well, the main thing I want to do while we still have you, Coach Spurrier, College Football News had a list earlier this week, and we've got it. We're going to go through it. College Football News, they list their 10 most important college football games for 2021. Want to go down that. But real quick, driving into the show today, I had to make a stop at a business. So I drove by the stadium. And I took a little side road there by the Florida indoor practice facility, and then I drive and I looked over. Boy, that football facility is coming along. Have y'all been by there in a while? It is really coming along in Florida.
Yeah, they had a little preview a month or so ago, and it's I think it's like an $85 million facility.
I mean, the second story's up on it now, and they are going.
And we've needed it. We've been behind a little bit facility-wise, so we're going to catch up here. It's still a good year or so away. But Scott Strickland and the boosters, that's something we desperately have needed.
I'll tell you what else that really jumped out at me driving by. This was, an hour and a half ago. Stadium, indoor facility, football, all right there, and it needed to be. Everything is right together now. There's, not a lot of walking around. Everything's really tight now, which it should be.
Yeah, because, right now, people got all excited, and they thought, 3, 4, 5, however long, 9 years ago when they built the indoor facility, that's what people thought we were missing. We did, but we needed the football-only facility because even when it's bad weather right now, they have to call a bus service to pick them up in the south end zone and bus them over there. Where now, once the facility's built, you just walk between two doors and you're inside.
Absolutely.
And it's something that's, I've been harping on it for a long time because I've been to a lot of schools. And, outside of Missouri, which I've never been to, I've just heard, Missouri and probably Vandy.
Okay.
Everybody else in the SEC has better facilities.
Has better facilities.
But they won't once this is built.
I know in the 90s, things were much more lax with the media. I probably went to 25, 30 practices over the years in the 90s. And it used to just be the players are coming from the stadium and they're walking all the way across the parking lot of the Oklahoma. It was just awkward, I thought. The way the players had to come over. Now it's going to be really tight and really confined.
Well, we didn't know any different back in those days.
No.
And, I know Coach Mullen, he did, because now they have stats for everything. He can tell you exactly how many miles his players walked in a year back and forth. And, does that set in fatigue when you're getting ready to play on a Saturday?
Yeah, anyway, it's coming along. It is really, really coming along. Guys, I know we talk a lot about this. I haven't really watched much Olympics, Coach. It's winding down. Hell of an Olympics, really, for Florida athletes, former Gator athletes. Are you still following the Olympics a lot? I just never got into it.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit. Obviously, our swimmers were the superstars.
Dominant,
Caleb Dressel and then Bobby Fink winning those 2 long-distance ones. Bobby Fink came out of nowhere. He was not a favorite, like Caleb was certainly a favorite, and I think he won all his individual races. So, and then Grant Holloway, he just did not have his best 110-meter hurdles. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
One of those days,
He came in second. And fortunately, he got second. He had to duck his head, right, Shane, to get in. So that was a smart move on his part. But I want to say something also, Terry.
Okay.
I have not tried to badmouth Texas.
Yeah, we wanted to get to that. You were on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday.
The only thing I was trying to say is they have struggled winning Big 12 championships. Heck, we've struggled winning SECs. Yeah. We've only had 2 in 20 years. And I know mentally here in Florida, we think we should have more than that. But they have been pretty good. I was there the night Texas beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Mm-hmm. And that's when they said, we're back. Yeah. And they were back. They were a top 10 program and so forth. But they got higher aspirations than just, finishing in the top 10. And Steve Sarkisian, I think he's going to really do well there. So,
and you were on a national show yesterday and kind of got jumped a little bit, I guess.
Well, I was not trying to say Texas has been terrible.
No.
I say they've been good. They just haven't been great. And I know, heck, they want to win the conference just like almost all schools that are capable. But anyway, I think they got a good chance to win it this year. With Sarkisian, his first year there.
They got talent.
Oh, yeah, they got ball players. And they fired their coach after he won the bowl game, and I've never heard of that before. How about that? That shows you they want to win big in Texas. So
Tom Herman was the hot guy.
I was not trying to badmouth Texas. They do it well. and I think it's wonderful for the SEC. They're coming in.
Yeah.
And I got a different attitude about Oklahoma. I think they want the challenge of the SEC.
Yeah.
I think
Iron
maybe
sharpens iron, I think.
some of their fans are bored winning the Big 12 every year. Said, let's go get those big dogs over in the SEC. I don't know. But it will be a little different for them, but they are looking forward to the challenge. That school is football tradition rich.
Deep.
They love their football
Deep.
at Oklahoma, and they love beating the big dogs. And I think they've won every Sugar Bowl against an SEC team that they've been in. They beat us this year. And remember when they beat Alabama and Saban when Bobby Stoops was there?
Sure.
So they get pumped up to play SEC teams.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah, you were wanting to say something. We were just talking about the Texas.
What about Texas?
Okay.
I mean, I had to think about it, and I'm still thinking about it. We've only won 2 SECs in the last 20 years.
I think so.
6 and 8. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so.
That's hard to believe.
Well, we won't bore everybody. We number one, Coach, your comments initially about Texas were made on this show 2 Mondays ago. Okay, they were made on this show, and then you had your Zoom call with all the media members announcing your new award with Mike Griffith and those guys. And one of it might have been Bianchi, asked about Coach Texas Oklahoma coming in, and you gave. I'm watching the Zoom call. You made your initial comments about Texas on this show on that Monday. That Wednesday, you gave basically the exact same answer. So some of the print boys ran with that. Coach is poking fun. He's getting on Texas, right? So we clipped that out and ran it this past Monday. This past Monday of this week. I'm not going to bore everybody, but the clip is on the front page of College Sports Today. It's pinned to the top. College Sports Today. You can see it, and it's 49 seconds or whatever. It's in fun. It's in jest. But what you said was true. What you said was true. So
Well, a lot of teams struggle winning conference
Yes.
championships.
Yes.
A lot of teams. So, but Texas has been good, but they want to be great. They want to
Yeah.
be great at Texas, and I admire them for that, certainly.
So if you want to hear all this deep controversy that Coach Spurrier's getting loose on Texas, it's on the homepage, College Sports Today, that you might be on right now. If your podcast listening, jump on College Sports Today. It's up there, pinned to the front, 49 seconds. There's a lot of laughing and a lot of smiling in there. Shane, Coach was mentioning, and real quick, and we'll get to those 10 games I want to. Coach was mentioning Oklahoma, the program, the fan base may want a new challenge. Kind of winning gets old. That kind of happened at a certain program in Gainesville in the 90s. You know, if you think about it. You think about that fan base, the Gator fan base, I think, got a little, fat and happy, I think. You know, you start winning 10 games is big in college football. I think the Gator fan base in the 90s, and you can speak to it.
Well, I know when I left, a bunch of them said, heck, he's only won one SEC in his last 5 years. And 3 of those last 5 years, we finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the country.
That's all.
So
that's
we
all.
won the bowl game and went 10-2 probably those
That's
years.
all.
But, that's it's all in perspective. And winning conference championships is big, and I hope all this 12-team playoff stuff doesn't diminish winning your conference championship, because that's what everybody's got a chance to do. Almost all the teams, they have sometimes just a very small chance, but to go win your conference championship gives you something to go for. Because the national, hey, 1 out of, 300 schools may win the national, but go get your conference championship, because that's doable. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think Coach said at one of our reunions several years ago, and I didn't really realize it at that point, every player he had at Florida won him at least 9 games.
That's unbelievable.
12, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
And we had good teams. We did. We had good teams, and we started losing that one game that knocked us out of the SEC. And there wasn't a huge difference in the teams all the way through.
Yeah, interesting. So they started getting mad at Coach Spurrier, not winning the conference, but finishing 3rd in the nation. And by the way, the conference was harder to win the second half of your tenure at Florida, because you made the conference a lot better. You made teams get a lot better. It's interesting how that all plays. Guys, before we, Coach Spurrier, you'll get out of here in 10, 15 minutes. I wanted to go over this. This was interesting. I came across, and Evan, we'll pull this up. College Football News had this week, they listed their top 10 most important college football games. We won't count them down to just your thoughts when we throw them up there. Things that come to mind, 10-1. Number 10, they think the Iowa State at Oklahoma game. Now, that's late November, is one of the most important. They put it at number 10. The issue with Iowa State here, they've been beating Oklahoma in the last 4 or 5 years. They just don't beat them in the trophy game. They beat them in the regular season, but they don't beat them. They play them again, Coach. You got to win that trophy game, though, right?
Yeah, it was a close game last year.
Yeah.
It really was. And I don't know. Iowa State, they could pull the upset. They certainly could.
Yeah.
So that's why they play the game.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Campbell and those guys have been handling. I think they beat Oklahoma 2 out of the last 5 times in the regular season. But, Shane, the trophy game, they lose in December. They got to win that game, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done a great job there. And, I think Oklahoma, they have aspirations of bigger things this year.
Yeah, and you wonder, Iowa State brings everybody back. If not now, when? And I don't want to run him out of town. Boy, the NFL, I keep saying this, the NFL boys love Matt Campbell. They just think he's got that NFL way about him. He's organized, and so keep an eye on that. At number 9, college football college football news. They like the North Carolina at Notre Dame game. That's mid-season, and Coach, North Carolina gets a little bit of a break. They play Miami. They don't play Clemson in the regular season. So North Carolina's 2 big ones are at Notre Dame and Miami earlier. And North Carolina's got that good quarterback.
Yeah, they got a chance. Now, there's a school that struggled winning conference championships. North Carolina, they won one in 40 years, and they're good enough to win one. I think they're capable of beating Clemson. I think
that was supposed to be a big game last year, wasn't it? Blowout City.
I think it was. I think it was. Yeah. I really do that. And that North Carolina loses some of their skill position, but they bring that quarterback back. And Notre Dame's got them at home mid-season, but boy, North Carolina. They don't get Clemson. They would, if North Carolina if they don't stub their toes somewhere and they can get Miami and get Notre Dame, that sets up a huge possible ACC championship game with Clemson. So they've got that as a big game. Game number 8, Oregon at Washington, and this is interesting. Boy, we'll see Oregon in a moment because they play Ohio State. But how about this? Oregon and Washington, they play each other in early November, but on the second Saturday in September, Oregon's got Ohio State and Washington's got Michigan. Boy, could the Pac-12 teams use a sweep on that day, and that's going to be hard. But Oregon at Washington. Washington's kind of laying in the weeds a little bit. Jimmy Lake, second-year coach, they're kind of laying in the weeds a little bit out there, I think. Any thoughts?
I wouldn't even know that's who their coach is.
Jimmy Lake took over for Peterson.
He was a D coordinator. Yeah, he's a sharp D coordinator. He's, in fact, they beat Washington State every year. That Mike Leach was out there, the only team that seemed to stymie the air raid offense. But those are supposedly the 2 best right now. But heck, Southern Cal or somebody else could jump in.
But boy, for that November 6th game there, as you see number 8, November 6th, for that to matter, they need to take care of early season business. College football news has the 7th most important game this coming season. Florida at LSU. Obviously, we know the situation last year. LSU is a real enigma and a tough injury. Miles Brennan with that broken arm. So LSU loses Brennan for 6 to 12 weeks, I think. What do you think of LSU, Coach? Got any feel? Nobody can get a feel on what LSU is going to be.
They're picked to be pretty good this year.
Yeah.
I've been reading the preseason predictions. They return a bunch of guys. But I tell you what, we're not going to worry about them until October 16th, whatever it is. We're going to worry about South Florida and FAU before the Alabama game.
Shane, as Coach is alluding to, there's a lot of landmines out there. It's scary to go. Florida just has a 3-game schedule. But, boy, between Georgia, LSU, and Alabama for the Gators, if you can get a combination of 2 of those 3, if you don't stub your toe, you're playing for big trophy somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? In Atlanta, somewhere even bigger maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look that far ahead, and LSU is a hard team to figure out.
They really are.
I thought Miles Brennan, freak accident, fishing accident,
Did you hear about that? He's walking on a dock.
And his flip-flop got caught in the dock.
He's holding fishing gear, I think.
Yeah, and he braced himself.
He's got fishing gear in his hand, walking on a dock, flip-flop, gets caught, falls, and breaks his humerus or whatever, out 6 to 12 weeks.
So, I mean, I have nothing against Coach O. I just, I don't know if he can win the big games if needed.
Game number 6, according to College Football News, most important games. This is intriguing. Cincinnati at Notre Dame, the second week, the Saturday in October. The week before, Cincinnati plays Indiana. They're at Indiana, and then they're at Notre Dame. The AAC, they really need Cincinnati. If Cincinnati wins those 2 games, they're a serious threat to the college football playoff. Luke Fickell's put together a damn good program at Cincinnati.
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
They had Georgia beat.
They really did.
Of course, the Georgia kicked about a 60-yarder, 58,
Yeah, he
something
bombed
like
it.
that. Yeah, I like Cincinnati. I liked how they played defense. Now, their D coordinator went to Notre Dame.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's at Notre Dame.
Marcus
Of course,
Freeman.
Notre Dame D coordinator is Vandy, head coach.
Yeah.
So, Vandy, they're going to be competitive,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Best program in America.
There
That's
you
what
go.
Clark
That's what
Lee
Clark
said.
Lee said.
Yeah.
The Vanderbilt coach.
He's being positive, yeah.
But
So-
Cincinnati, that's going to be a hell of a game the week before. They play Indiana. Indiana brings a lot of players back. If Cincinnati beats Indiana, they go 3-0 to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
If they beat Notre Dame, that's probably the biggest win in AAC history. And I know UCF won a bowl game. That would be huge for the AAC. The fifth most important game, according to College Football News this year, Florida, Georgia, in Jacksonville. We all know, that has the potential to be off the chain. Off the chain. If both teams take care of business, obviously Florida has the big Alabama game before, but Florida, Georgia, and Georgia has the big Clemson game.
Yeah, that's
Long ways away.
we still got to beat Georgia to win the East. And we all know that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible we could lose 2 games to the West, beat Georgia, and hope somebody else beats Georgia.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, you look at number 4. Shane, thoughts on Florida, Georgia? Obviously, there's a lot of stuff before late October.
Yeah, I mean, you can lose to Alabama
Mm-hmm.
and still beat Georgia and go to Atlanta, but you got to beat LSU as well.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
a lot of football. to be played.
Yeah, and again, Florida has got the 3 big boys, provided they don't stub their toe, got to get 2 of those 3. And that's tough. Georgia, Alabama, LSU. You got to get 2 of those 3. Got to get 2 of those 3. Game number 4, again, LSU pops up, and we don't know about LSU draws a tough break. They get, obviously, Alabama and A&M, and they always have Florida. So they get Alabama and A&M on their side, and Florida. And then Texas A&M rolls in. We'll know, though. That's Thanksgiving week Saturday. So that game will work itself out. LSU will either be shocking the world again or have 3 or 4 losses, probably.
That could be a huge game for A&M.
Could be a monster game
Because I
for
still think they're going to win
A&M.
the conference.
Yeah, I love them. I love A&M this year. We talked a little bit. Oregon at Ohio State, the second Saturday in September. Does Oregon and the Pac-12 ever need a big national win? That could really catapult the Pac-12, and they haven't had that catapult game. Remember, Oregon came to Atlanta several years ago and had Auburn beat and lost at the end. Oregon/the Pac-12 needs an early national win. They hadn't had one in a long time, Coach.
Yeah,
Pac-12.
that would be big for the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Pac-10 or Pac-12?
Pac-12, yeah.
12.
They're 12
Whatever
also,
they are.
yeah. Used to be
I think
Pac-10.
so,
They
yeah.
may have 14 teams.
They may have 14, but they're calling it something else.
But
Sure.
the Big Ten has stuck with their name. That's why I like the Big Ten.
Yeah. They got 14 teams, but they're the Big
Yeah,
Ten.
the Big Ten, yeah.
Game number 2, college football news calls it Alabama at A&M. Happens fairly early, or a little bit before the midway point. We will know a lot, though. We'll know a lot. We will have seen Alabama roll into Gainesville, Bryce Young, and A&M. That's kind of A&M's put up or shut up game, right, Shane?
It is. They have a ton of people coming back. I think 8 or 9 starters on the top-ranked defense coming back. They have, I think, the best player in Aniyah Smith. They got the Spiller kid at tailback. They got that big tight end that's outstanding. Everybody's worried about the quarterback. I'm not. I thought
I'm with
Kellen
you.
Mond was very
Average.
average, and I think Jimbo's got 2 pretty talented kids. I've just seen clips of them. They look like natural throwers. He does a pretty good job calling plays as well.
Coach, your thoughts on A&M, and your thoughts on Jimbo Fisher. He's now a veteran coach, been doing it a long time. I've always liked what he does on the offensive side. I think he can coach well.
I love those head coaches that call the plays.
Yes,
you know that.
sure you do.
And Jimbo does it. Dan Mullen does it. There's a lot of them out there
Yeah.
still doing it. Sarkisian will do that at Texas also.
Yeah.
And Lincoln Riley at Oklahoma. Dabo calls more than people think.
Think so,
He
is
told
that
me
right?
that one time anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah, he said, I sneak a lot of plays in there people don't know about. But anyway, and I think he does do that. But, Jimbo, he's got a track record. Won a national at FSU. They have not been worth a flip, hardly, since he left.
Yeah.
So he was a big reason they were successful there.
Yes.
And his recruiting was outstanding also.
It's funny.
That's what you have to do.
When I see and think of Jimbo, I can still think of the young guy that just yesterday, it was in the 90s, he was cutting his teeth, but now he's one of the, he's a veteran, a cagey, a been around a long time. He's seen it all. He's led a couple programs. But if that game falls out right before they meet up, that could be just a monster game. That has the makings to be probably the biggest home game in the history of Texas A&M football. If Alabama and Texas A&M roll in there undefeated, that could be the biggest home game in College Station. It really could. And, of course, the number one game that College Football News says coming up in this 2021 season, they like, obviously, and we'll come back on camera here, Evan, Clemson and Georgia right out of the gate. And
their biggest game is on the way when they play Texas in 2025.
Yes, that'll be a little bit bigger.
I can't wait to watch that.
Maybe next year, Coach.
Yeah,
I
think it happens. Guys, I think it happens.
Whenever it's going to be a big game now.
They need to put that Texas A&M game back at Thanksgiving, like they do Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
That'd be great. And I'm with you. I'm almost convinced, no inside information, but I'm almost convinced Oklahoma and Texas will be playing football and athletics next SEC season. I think they will come in. It'll happen. There's nothing really benefit. The money's going to work itself out. The lawyers are going to get together, and the money's going to work itself out. And the two schools will pay a little bit. The conference will chip in. The TV boys will chip. The money will work itself out. There's nothing positive for anybody having Oklahoma and Texas in a lame duck status for 2 or 3 years, especially. Oklahoma's probably going to win that damn conference the next 2 or 3 years. Do you want a lame duck? Do you want your big brother that you know is about to move out holding that trophy? Shane, it's a bad look. It's a bad look. Coach, the restaurant is less than a week away. Official opening. We're about to go to break and let you get out of here. I know you're busy all day and all weekend. The official opening is August 11th. That is Wednesday of next week.
Yeah, we've had a lot of events there.
Yes,
and we've had some dinners by invitation, and everything's run very smoothly. And people seem happy. The food is excellent. Shane will tell you he was in there the other night, and we're looking forward to August 11th.
Yeah, and it is here. I know you need a reservation. I heard on your show if you don't, you can still go to the bar area. And just be a patron walking in. But it's so busy. You need a reservation. And that's easy to take care of. And I know it's been, watching all you guys work so hard for several years.
And I found the phone number for the restaurant. There's a lot of people out there like to call for reservations. Obviously, it's 352, but it's easy to remember. It's 500 and then 4422. How about that? 4422.
500, okay.
500.
And then obviously the Gainesville area code 352. Gosh, I never even thought about the phone number.
I didn't either.
I had to ask Freddie that. By the way, what's the phone number of our place?
No.
Coach, you're probably the only person that has a flip phone that calls anybody.
Well, I got another phone too that I use also.
Coach, let me fix what you just said. You said Freddie, not what's the phone number to the place? To your place. It's your own place, and you didn't even know your damn. Your place. That's what it is. 352-500-4HBC.
Which is 4422.
4422.
That might be easier.
There you go. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be 500-1111.
Couldn't get that one probably.
Oh, that would have been good. So that's good information as we get Coach out of here on his way. The number to the restaurant. And I guess you could do reservations way ahead of time, I guess. I don't know.
I think except for the Alabama weekend.
Yeah. Some of us booked up. But 352-500-4422. That is the number, the direct line to Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And I think on the website there's also a way you can take care of your reservations. So you can just take your time, get on the website, SpurriersGridironGrill.com.
That's it. Yeah.
SpurriersGridironGrill.
That's your website right there.
.com. Coach, we'll let you get out of here. Shane and I are going to kick around a couple more college football ideas. When we get back together, Coach, we'll be inside 20 days before kickoff. Thanks for your time, my friend. Have a great weekend.
All right. Good being with you guys again.
We appreciate it. It's Coach Steve Spurrier. Break time, come back. More college sports today on the other side.
The good vibes. What? All the good vibes we had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
Taste the islands and every drop of Vida de Luis tequila. 100% blue agave from Tequila, Mexico. Good
All the
vibes.
good vibes we've had, we'll have again. All the good vibes we've had, we'll have again.
It's time to thank the sponsors that make college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell possible. Vida de Louis Tequila, the official tequila of college sports today. Make sure you ask for Vida de Louis Tequila by name in your favorite bars and restaurants throughout the state of Florida. And of course, with your next margarita inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The official seafood restaurants of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell can be found up and down the Northeast Florida coast. Safe Harbor Seafood Mayport, Safe Harbor Seafood Crescent Beach, and Sliders Oyster Bar Neptune Beach. The proud seafood sponsors of college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell. J.B. Coxwell Contracting, established in 1983 and offering complete site development. Go with the company generally considered the most well-respected heavy civil construction firm in Northeast Florida. Go with J.B. Coxwell Construction. For advertising information to get your business on college sports today with Spurrier, Matthews, and Norvell, simply shoot me an email, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Again, shoot me, Terry Norvell, an email, and I'll get back with you. That email address again, tnsportsjacks@yahoo.com. Special thanks, as always, to the head ball coach. Boy, he's a pistol. He rolls in, stirs it up, and rolls out. He's got a lot going on with a lot of stuff. Coach is always busy, Shane, at this time of year. It's football season, and people are calling him, and he's making appearances, and then he's opening that damn restaurant. So,
Well, it ain't like he's back there washing dishes
No,
or cooking.
no.
He gonna do like me and you. He's
Yeah.
gonna show up and eat.
Yes, he is, and
about all he
we've
does.
both eaten there, and it's good eating. It is
Yeah.
good eating. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill opens to the general public and off and running August 11th. That is this coming Wednesday. So there you have it, and we found out the number, 352-500-4422. Shane, want to cover a couple of topics here in the second half of college sports today, including LSU. I think they've got a sticky opener, and it got even stickier with the injury. USC, we'll start right there. USC had a felony arrest. Brew McCoy, and I don't know if you know much about him. I love the kid. He was kind of a star out of Texas. Remember, he committed and went to Texas, I think, and got out of it. And
that kid.
He's that guy. He's that little slot guy, terribly athletic. They're counting on him. And I know we're several weeks away, but some type of arrest, it's that time of year, man. You hold your breath until the season starts. That'd be a blow for USC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think teams should have to worry about people getting in trouble now because they're going to be stuck in hotels with their teams and things of that nature.
So something to track. Coach was talking about Oklahoma coming in, and Shane, I've heard a lot of talk. Obviously, Oklahoma and Texas make the move. There's a lot of argument against a move like that. A lot of people say, why in the world would you put yourself in a tougher position to win a national title? Why would you leave why, if you're Oklahoma, would you leave the Big 12 that you can get into the playoff all the time? Why, if you're Clemson with the rumors? Why, if you're Florida State with the rumors? Why would you leave the ACC? I think the fan misses the security blanket, the insurance policy. Shane, think about it. Pick Oklahoma. We are about to start our 21st season in this century of college football, right? 2021 will be the 21st season. Oklahoma has won the national title one time. And they won it the first year, by the way, 2000.
Stoops, was there?
Yeah. Well, people say, well, why Oklahoma? Why go make it harder on yourself? Well, number one, it's rare that you win a national title. Now, Shane, I will say, a program that wins a national title, there is a windfall that comes with that, to that program. Wouldn't you agree with that? A good solid year and a half, maybe 2 years, more booster donations, more merchandise sales, probably easier to sell your in-house advertising. There's a windfall of money that comes to winning the title. But when's that going to happen? On average, throw Alabama out. They mess up the numbers, right? Well, winning a national title, Florida's won 2 in 30-something years. Oklahoma's won 1 in this century. Only a couple programs have even won more than one in this century. Now, would you rather play in the least an easier conference and maybe every 20 years, every 15, every 18 years get a windfall because you won a national title, or there's going to be years where Oklahoma goes 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, but they get $20 million more every single year than they would have gotten in the Big 12. $20 million more every single year consistently. Same with Clemson. That's why you do it, for insurance, for security.
It's all about money.
Yes.
It's all about money.
Clemson.
But their fans are going to enjoy
Yep.
traveling around to venues that they've never been, and they'll really love the SEC culture.
I mean, think about Clemson. Clemson, they won a title way back in '81 with Homer Jordan and Perry Tuttle and those guys. They kind of muddled around in the '80s. Coach Spurrier beat them and won an ACC. They muddled around. Clemson, Dabo muddled around for a couple of years, then got it going. 3-4 years from now, Clemson could easily be back to winning 7 games in the ACC and getting $32 million check, or they could go to the SEC if they could get invited. And if once they hit that 7-win, 8-win little run they're going to have, it's going to happen. That cycle's going to happen. They're getting $47 million, $47 million, 40. That's why you go to a harder conference.
Yeah, because and honestly,
some people don't understand that.
Take Clemson's a great example. From a game standpoint, I don't know how you get excited, or even a fan standpoint.
Yeah.
We're traveling to Wake Forest this week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing against Wake,
Nope.
but I guess that would be equivalent to traveling to Vanderbilt.
Sure.
But the atmospheres and the conference is not what it is in the SEC. And I have a very close friend who had his kids were top recruits in America, and it came down between Clemson and Alabama. And they loved Clemson. They loved Dabo. They loved this whole program. But they also loved what Alabama does, how many players they put in the league, and they wanted to play in the SEC.
I agree. I agree. That's a big pull. That is a big pull for the entire program. I say this, too. The fan, I think, with all this realignment talk, and it's going to happen, and it's kind of happening right now, the fan, I think, immediately looks at football and says, wow, look at Clemson, go get Clemson. I don't think Clemson's a great addition to a conference as a whole. I think Clemson right now in this cycle is good in football. I don't know if Clemson brings much. And you know they're going to cycle down. College football is cyclical.
They used to be pretty good in baseball. And they're very I mean, at times they have some good basketball teams, but
yeah.
I hear you.
I mean, Clemson, I don't think everybody says, Terry, how can you say that? They're one of the 2 or 3 best programs in college football. Right now. 5 years from now, you'll lug in Clemson around probably. You're giving them $47 million. You go, man, I'll tell you right now, head and shoulders. If Greg Sankey called me right now, said, Terry, we're adding one more. We got 2 of them on deck. You're making the call. The 2 of them are Clemson or North Carolina. North Carolina in a heartbeat. North Carolina as a whole, by a mile, is more attractive for every aspect than Clemson, program-wise. The entire everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, North Carolina's the state school, the big, deep tradition, old Southern money. Anywho, that's I wanted to get some of that out there. LSU, and I was saying this before Miles Brennan got that fluke injury. I think they've got a little tester. We'll have our picks starting up. Our Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week. I think I did, but yeah, I won. I did.
I thought so.
I did, and I think I come in second.
Evan.
And then I came in third.
I won, Evan.
Evan, tell him.
Yeah, I did. I know. That's why I brought it up.
I don't think so. No, Shane took the Safe Harbor Seafood picks of the week. By the way, that was a fun segment. We'll do that in a couple of Fridays, every Friday, thanks to Safe Harbor Seafood sponsoring our picks contest. LSU, before the Miles Brennan situation, they're now down to Max Johnson, who had a moment or two, played well in Gainesville. I don't know how good he is long-term, knowing he's the starting quarterback. Garrett Nussmeier's behind him now for 5 to 12 weeks. They open up at UCLA. Shane, that's an 1,800-mile trip at UCLA with very little quarterback depth now. If Max Johnson gets squirrely, do you realize UCLA plays a game before LSU?
Yeah.
So UCLA plays the week before. UCLA under Chip Kelly, who I think is much better than they were 3 or 4 years ago. They've gotten better. UCLA will have a game under their belt. LSU's going 1,800 miles to open their season with a little bit of quarterback issue now and lack of depth, with not one but 2 brand new coordinators that have never coordinated before. Thoughts, and I know we got time to talk about it. I think that's a dicey opener.
Yeah, it could be. I'm one of the people that never worries about quarterback depth. Only one guy plays.
Sure.
You can't sit here as a play caller or as a head coach and worry about, okay, what are we going to do to protect our quarterback?
It's more, what if the lefty pitches it to the guys in the best uniforms in college football twice in the first half?
Well, you may you never know. The next guy may be the guy that plays.
He could be Shane Mack, yeah.
You don't know. That's the thing, is that it blows my mind.
You'd rather get on that plane with Miles Brennan and Max Johnson.
Well, that's true, but I think Miles Brennan was by far the best quarterback. But it's sit here, like Emory. Okay, we're going to run Emory Jones. Dan Mullen is not worried about Emory Jones getting hurt.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you had 6 walk-ons behind you.
Now,
they may say that publicly, but as a play caller, you can't do that.
I hear you, and I respect your opinion. Dan Mullen also isn't running Emory Jones out against UCLA 1,800 miles away from home with his first time ever calling big-time college football plays.
Right. No, I hear you. So, it is a dicey deal, but how many times have you seen kids that don't have experience, which he does have experience. He's got great pedigree.
Yeah.
He's been coached up at home very well.
Johnny Manziel. Nobody knew Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, you never know.
I got you. Little backstory. And I'm just saying, this all plays into it. If you're an LSU fan, you're a little dicey right now. You're a little nervous right now. The offensive coordinator, by the way, for LSU, Jake Peets, okay? He was the quarterback coach in the NFL last year at Carolina under Joe Brady. That's kind of the draw, I think. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Brady was the OC for that magical LSU year 2 years ago. So Jake Peets, quarterback coach, and I looked at his resume. I don't think he's coordinated anywhere. I think the first play he calls will be the first big-time play he calls.
I'm going to say this. I don't know him at all, but I can tell you right now, I've never called a play in college football, and I would be very confident I could go out there and do it.
And I'm sure he is. Little side story, and this kind of made all the articles I was reading kind of brushing up. Who is this Jake Peets guy? But he'll be in the Rose Bowl, I guess, right? He'll be in that Rose Bowl press box calling those first plays. Word is he's a real emotional guy. Coach O's got an emotional OC. Word is he's a table flipper.
Really?
He'll flip tables in a meeting.
I've never heard of any offensive guy like that.
No, the word is Peets is up. Now, and we're playing, this is what we do on shows like this, we're playing look ahead, though. Johnson gets out there and throws it to the wrong color jersey a few times.
Which he could.
And they're in a dogfight, LSU. They got no experience at all behind them, Grant Nussmeier. Is this, I'm assuming, young Jake Peets, first time calling plays at a big SEC school? Can he move the testosterone to the side if needed on those 3 hours and say, we may just need to ground and pound if we can and get out of here 21-17? Or is he going to let his testosterone, I'm the new guy, I'm going to show them, pass it 50 times?
Because his head coach will make that decision for him. What I don't understand is why has LSU only got 2 scholarship quarterbacks?
I don't know. Did they lose somebody? Oh, T.J. Finley left.
But still.
Finley went to Auburn.
We have 4 here.
I got you.
It makes no sense.
By the way, Duranta Jones, first time ever, as I understand it, defensive coordinator. 2 new coordinators have never really called ball plays as coordinators, and they're going to do it 1,800 miles away. I don't know. Shaner? I don't know. Getting out of here, a couple topics. Big 12. Pac-12, do they have to merge? Is that the only thing that can save them? And do they kick a few out? Do they turn into a 24 team? What do they do?
Speaking of that,
what are they going to do?
20-something, do you know what the SEC back in like 1920, how many teams were in the conference?
It's got to be a big number the way
you
said
it. It's like 24 teams.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They knew.
I saw something. There's like 24 teams in the SEC like in 1925.
Pac-12. Big 12. Big 12 only had 10, but we know 2 are gone, right? So there's only 8 sitting in the Big 12. Mm-hmm. If they merge, don't you send Colorado back over? And that gives them 9. don't you send Colorado back over?
Well, you mean if they merge, it doesn't really matter.
But I
They're all
mean,
in the
if you
same
got to
conference.
split it or something, you got to kind of put that group on
Yeah,
one.
possibly, but I don't.
Right?
I think when these teams are going to do away with the two
Splits.
different, yeah, I just don't.
If
know
you're
how they can do it.
if you're talking, if Shane Matthews is on that call, and Pac-12, Big 12 are talking about a merger and commissioners and all. Arizona State, Cal, Oregon State, Stanford, UCLA, USC, Utah, Washington State. All those stay. If you're looking to merge, Baylor, Iowa State, Kansas State, Oak State, TCU, Texas Tech. By the way, the Pac-12. I know people rip on the Pac-12. That looks a lot better than that.
Yeah, that's why you gotta just put them all in one.
Put them all together.
I mean, yeah.
At that point, you would have Pac-12, Big 12, but Big 12 with only 8. You got to add a few, or do you?
Yeah,
go,
I would go get Boise.
do you go get? Do you get BYU?
Yes,
and I
I'd
get
get-
the Sunday stuff,
I'd
but that's
get-
going to work itself out.
I'd get BYU.
You get BYU.
Well, hell, they shouldn't be playing a game on a Sunday.
Yeah, but every once in a while it falls.
Well, they can make sure they don't.
I
mean,
think
it's
they
simple.
can. That stuff. I think don't you go get BYU.
And Boise, and you're done.
Does the Big 12 try to, do you split it up and need to have equal teams or no? Do you go talk to Houston? Do you go talk to SMU? Do they bring enough? Boy, the remaining Big 12 looks like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not good. That's why you got to put them all in one.
Yeah.
And just best 2 records.
Isn't that the merge? That has to happen to
Yeah,
keep those together,
I would
right?
think so.
Short of Notre Dame swooping in and saving somebody, aren't they the only savior out there? Short of Notre Dame swooping in and saying, we want to be in the... could Notre Dame... This just hit me. And maybe you're going to say, Terry, this is the stupidest thing you've ever said, but this just hit me. Could Notre Dame be sitting here going, we want to be the national program. We'll be in the Pac-12 for 2 years. We'll be in this conference for a couple of years.
Oh, that ain't gonna.
Could they do it? Yeah. You talk about taking them national, though?
I don't know.
Taking them national?
Oh, we don't want them in the SEC. I don't.
SEC wouldn't need them, but there's other ones. Yeah. Are you confident? I am. Are you confident that I'll say before the football season is over, the college football season, I think the Big Ten has an announcement and it knocks everybody back. I think they have a big announcement. I think they do something big. I just don't see the Big Ten just holding pat and saying we're going to see how we stack up with the big bad SEC now.
They'll have to do something, I would think.
Yeah, interesting. I thought your show was great today with Edgar Thompson.
Edgar does a good job.
It's time. It's time. Were you one of those night before couldn't sleep kind of guys, or you're a laid back dude? You just say, man,
Nah,
camp starts.
Yeah, no big deal.
Now you had 3 official camps, I guess, really in the mix. The second and third one at Florida had to be easier. You were the quarterback.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were easy.
You're a gamer. Practice doesn't do much for you, does it?
Oh, I hated practice. Practice is so damn boring.
I like it. All right, Niner, we missing anything? 22 days from today, it kicks off. And you think we'll have a bombshell before the season? Big Ten bombshell? Or?
I doubt it.
No?
I doubt. I still think I agree with you that I think Texas and OU will be playing sports in the
I do.
SEC next year.
I think so. I think so. And there's nothing but positive and a bunch of negative if they don't. Nothing but positive. I think Sankey and the boys, who by the way just got a big extension. Greg Sankey. I think Sankey and the boys right now have that humongous board out, and they're working on schedules for next year. I think they're working on schedules, and there's going to be a lot of, I guess, remember that release about a year ago? Everybody was going and getting their out-of-conference games.
Yeah, that's out the window now.
It's out the window, right?
Yeah, well,
Right.
we're supposed to go to like Utah, Cal, and
Texas. Now, they'll merge Texas in as a conference game, but yeah, that's all out the window. We're out of here as well. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on a Friday edition College Sports Today. Coach Spurrier for the first half, we appreciate it. Remember now, if you want to hear his and watch his comments that are making the rounds about Coach Spurrier popping off about Texas, it's on the front page. We've pinned it on the page of College Sports Today. It's humorous, it's funny, it's lighthearted. If you think Coach was taking a dig, then I don't know about your sense of humor. That'll wrap it up. I want to thank Evan Miller for producing, as always, and we will do it once again, Monday, 11 a.m., the next edition of College Sports Today.